Hello, welcome to the Gift and Home channel. I'm Susan Wagner, editor of Country Business Magazine, and I'm here in Apex, North Carolina in front of the Rusty Bucket. The Rusty Bucket was this year's 2007 Retailer of the Year Award. We've been giving out this award for 10 years, and it goes to an outstanding store that does an incredible job as far as their displays, their community service, being involved with their community, doing lots of great events, participating in advertising and marketing, and other branding of their business. One thing we always look for is that stores that understand what's involved in making sure that a retail business is successful through the year and is always looking for great adventures and new things that they can do to increase their business. So we'll be looking for Retailers of the Year nominations for next year, and maybe it'll be your chance and I'll be standing in front of your store next year. Hi, welcome to the Gift and Home channel. I'm Susan Wagner, editor of Country Business Magazine, and I'm here in Apex, North Carolina with Mac and Pam Thorpe, the winners of our 2007 Retailer of the Year contest. Mac and Pam own the Rusty Bucket, and I wanted to ask you a little bit about your background in the business world, because you weren't always in the retail world.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. I out of college taught high school for 5 years and then moved into industry. The last 22 years prior to us opening our store, I worked into telecommunications. And like many people today, downsizing was happening, and the stress of it, you found that you weren't happy even though you made a lively income, so to speak. And we wanted to do something on our own, and Pam was an avid country decorator, and she had always had a dream of opening a store.
Right. And you sit through 20 years of the corporate life, and you do that, and you enjoy it, and you get in these golden handcuffs where you're making a really good salary, and you have benefits, and you really are afraid to step out and pursue your dream. So sometimes things come, good things come in strange ways. We were sitting through, I guess I had sat through about 3 years of downsizing, and I was lucky enough to actually get laid off. Because you sit there and you think, do I really want to do this for the rest of my life? And it's like, no, I really want to go after my dream. And I've had this dream for an old country store, or something that looked like an old country store. And like I said, sometimes things come to you in ways that you don't expect. And I was lucky enough to get laid off, and we started working on this dream together.
Yeah. We began with a consignment setup because we figured we'd use some of our sales and marketing experience for all the years in industry and the high-tech community. So we decided to test market the Raleigh area for the country look, because there wasn't any shops around that carried it at that time. So we went to a small place up off of Six Forks Road and bought a little cube, or rented a little cube in a consignment store. And 6 months into it, we knew we had something special, and we with meeting the customers and the product selling as well as it did, and then we were looking for a storefront right then. So we knew very early on that we'd had something that was going to work.
The nice thing about the consignment setup is I was able to keep working and test market products and find some vendors and research those and do it kind of on a low-risk basis. And when we kind of felt like things were working, then we were able to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
So what brought you to Apex?
The downtown.
Yes, downtown, definitely. It's beautiful, quaint. The town fathers, about maybe 15 years or so, decided that with the growth in the Triangle area, some of the towns were actually tearing down buildings in downtown. And downtown Apex has been here since 1850s. So they chose to put a little money in it, fix up the sidewalks, and give incentives for people to come and purchase the buildings and then lease the buildings. And so that was a big help getting down here. And it's just so nice. It's still like an old Southern Railroad town. The train comes through many times a day. The depot is now where the Chamber of Commerce is. And it's just a great community of retailers and business, because we have doctors and real estate folks in addition to the retail.
What sort of things did you have in mind when you were looking for a location? You know, what parameters were you keeping in mind, and what did it have to have? Or
it had to fit the atmosphere of an old country store. We could have gone into like a strip shopping center, and I mean, we could have created the same
or a mall,
same look within those setups, but we really like the charm of an old downtown and the feeling that you get. It kind of takes you back in time to when you used to go downtown with your grandma to the dime store and get some penny candy.
Was there a certain size you were looking for? Were you?
Yeah, we didn't want to have like 5,000 or 10,000 square feet initially because we knew that that would be a tremendous amount of inventory out of the gate. So we were looking for anything, say, no less than 1,000 square feet, but at least 15 to 2,000 square feet, and we ended up getting 1,800 square feet in this location, and we have 1,600 square feet in floor space, and then 200 for storage, heating and air, a little office and restroom. So right now it's doing really well, and we do look forward to the day when we can expand.
Okay. From the beginning, when you first started, that you decided, okay, I want to start a store, I want to do a retail business, to the point where you were able to open the doors and let customers in, how long of time frame was that?
Oh, maybe a year.
Yeah. It took us at least a year to find the location, get a lease, and then line up all the vendors, because what we had in our consignment setup was really small. We didn't have that many vendors. And then to set them up. In fact, we actually met the gentleman that owns the soda shop, Wade Baker, and he let us use a cube in there as our remote office while we got the lease, and then we had 6 months of build out and construction to get it all put in place. So where we would meet with vendors and stuff, and then of course we would go to markets and meet vendors. So it took a good year to do the whole thing and get to where we had the ribbon cutting.
Okay. And you told me that prior to opening the store, you had the front covered, but you had a sign out there.
Right. Yeah.
Which,
so, well, two things we know about marketing is branding your product, and that means repetitiveness, seeing something over and over. The day we had the lease on the building, there was a sign company here a couple years ago. We went straight down to them. We had our design for our logo, and within 2 weeks we had a sign on the building before we even had a contractor lined up to even do our build out within the store. That way, there's a lot of traffic here on the street that went by during the 6 months that saw a sign that said the Rusty Bucket. In fact, many people thought it was a restaurant or a bar, but we went ahead and put paper on the windows so they couldn't see exactly what was happening. But we put some write-ups on the windows to tell them what was coming.
Right.
And then the second thing we did, and the first purchase we made, was we bought our Model A, Rusty.
So, going through the process, what kind of lessons did you learn? What kind of tips would you give to other store owners who are interested in that? Or what did you find out that you would have done differently?
Well, I think the first lesson you learn is always anticipate that it's going to take longer than you're told.
Right.
You know, you're dealing with contractors, you're dealing with the town that have, you have to deal with building permits and inspectors.
Yeah.
And if they tell you it's going to take 3 months, expect 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah, because we had thought, with at least in December, we had a timetable to open March 1st, but it ended up being July 1st. And I think that was the first thing, expectations. Always have some cushion in there, because what happened to us, we got caught short, and tons of inventory started rolling in, and we had no place to store it. So I would have any advice to anyone getting started: be reasonably flexible, and don't be tight on your opening date, because that's going to change no matter what you set it, because there's the unexpected. And we got fairly lucky coming into an old building, but some of the folks down here have run into some serious construction problems by going into an old building and doing some remodeling. We were very fortunate we didn't have some of the problems they had with water and other issues. So you got to be careful when you're doing that.
It's always the unexpected.
Yeah.
Okay,
The unexpected, kind of plan for it.
Anything you would have done differently?
Probably would have done it sooner.
Sooner.
Yeah, much sooner. I think now.
Taking the jump earlier.
Yeah, it takes a lot of courage because you're frightened. And like she said, when you work with a large corporation, there is the security of being there, even in times of layoff, because it's what you know. But to jump off and do this is what you don't know. And whereas you were used to getting that paycheck every 2 weeks, and you had your insurance, and jumping off and doing this, it takes a lot of courage. And I think we had it, and that's something I would encourage people to do. Don't underestimate what you're capable of doing when you roll up your sleeves. When you believe in what you're doing and you roll up your sleeves and do it.
Well, you guys did a wonderful job.
Well, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Right, appreciate it.
Thank you.